right, let's give this a second to get us live. Dum 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 dum. All right, here we go. Look at that. We are we're here. Welcome. Today is Tuesday, March 8th. Welcome to the Above Board Show, the only weekly podcast dedicated to cybersecurity leaders. Join the conversation as our panel of industry veterans and insightful guests provides leadership insights and breaks down the current events so that you can have a more engaging and more productive conversation with your board and your C-suite. I am Rafal, and joining me and my co-host, Mr. Bottom right-hand corner, Grant Sewell, bottom left-hand corner, Mr. Gary Latham. And this show is part of the Down to Security Rabbit Hole podcast family in collaboration with the Security Advisor Alliance. And once again, if you don't know what either of those two are, welcome to their show. Go check those out. Our guest today is Mr. Randy Raw. I'll let him introduce himself. And we're going to be talking a little bit about the Department of No. So let's kick it off. Randy, welcome.
Well, thanks, guys. My name is Randy Raw, and I'm the CISO at Veterans United Home Loans. We are a mortgage origination company in Columbia, Missouri, and our single focus is to get veteran heroes into homes. So I've been here about 10 and a half years, and we've been on a rocket ride from 540 employees when I started to about 5,200 now in 10 years, and loan volume that matches. So some of the things that we're going to talk about today have really been influenced and impacted significantly by culture and how the company culture intersects with security culture, particularly.
Excellent. That is, man, I tell you what, if there's a worthy cause, that is it. So we started off with this, idea of the Department of No and KNOW. A lot of us have worked in security organizations where the Department of No and O. Tell me about the difference between the two and kind of what you set up in your organization, how that's going.
Yeah. So from the day I interviewed, I sat down with the CIO, and he had only been here about a week, and we were experiencing rapid growth at that time, and we were talking about what it was that he was needing. We were really needing to build a security program. I was the first person that was here actually focusing on security. Prior to that point, it had been a lot of growth around infrastructure, software development, that sort of thing. And I told him, I said, if you're looking for someone that is going to say no, N-O, you can't do that, I'm not your person. If you're looking for someone that can help build the business and integrate security with the business and look at things from, at the time, we didn't even really use the word risk posture, but that's really what it was look at what is the right risk posture and how do we be part of the innovation strategy so the company can go forward and do the things that the business units want to do with the right levels of security and layers of security to apply friction in the right places and not in the wrong places. Then I'm your guy. I can help you do that. But if you want somebody to come in and say, no, I'm not interested in that. So really from the first interview, that's the way it started for me.
That's a great description and a fantastic sort of transition in this business in general. Because I think we all did kind of start out when it was the Department of NO and had to figure out how to do that along the way. So sure. Randy, from what I've had experience with you and your team, culture seems to be enormously important, right? And it sounds like it is across the company, not just in your organization. But I guess what I'm curious about, because I've never really put any hard thought to this, is how important is that culture inside of the security organization, and does it actually translate up? And if so, how far? Does it get to the board, or does the board in fact look at you and say, Department of No, that's cute, don't let me get hacked, right?
Yeah, that's a great question. So right now the company is doing something called all groups, where every person in the company is part of a small group, and we're focusing on company values. And so our core company values are be passionate and have fun, deliver results with integrity, and enhance lives every day. And when I saw those, and those values were in place prior to me getting here, and they were generated by the employees of the company 2 years before I started, was not from on high down. It was company grassroots employees And then after about 5 years, 6 years, where we had some pretty significant growth, we went back and looked at, again, the employees, are these still our same company values? By then we had 2,500 employees from 540, and really there were about 250 employees whenever the values came into existence. And so we asked the question, with the change in growth and that many more people, did the values change? And overwhelmingly, everyone said, no, those are the right core values for us. We added one line at the bottom, and it says, with love and care, we help each other live out these values. Right now, all groups are talking about, how do we live in a culture of care? Now, Gary, you asked me, how does that the company values overlap into security? In the security department, I've been very blessed. We've got about 38 people on our team. And we've got some non-traditional security people. So all of our identity access management team is part of security. Third-party risk, first-party risk, policy, IT audit is part of the team. And so we've got both the technical and the non-technical. And it's interesting how both groups embrace the company values. Now, we're also pretty selective in looking for people who do embrace those values before we bring them on the team. And we make no bones about it. That is our secret sauce. In the mortgage origination business, there's lots of things you could do. We're one of the largest lenders that nobody knows about, unless you're in the veteran community. And if you served, thank you. If you're currently serving, thank you. Our focus is to help the veterans take advantage of that VA mortgage opportunity that's with them. And there's so many people that are really just not aware of what a benefit it is. But we want to do that and care for our employees, care for the customer, the consumer, our borrowers, as the same as we would with our people. And that has to permeate everything, especially the security aspect. You asked the question is, does the board say, yeah, that's all well and good, just don't let us get hacked? No, not really. They're asking us, what does culture look like in your department? Are you caring for your employees? Do your employees like to come to work every day? Are they passionate about what they do? How are they delivering results with integrity? They're asking that all the time. Now, always, from that standpoint of, and let's make sure we're doing the right blocking and tackling and layers of security. And I've been very blessed with some very talented people that have helped us put together a program where we feel good about where we are. There's always room for opportunity for growth. And we know we're not going to just sit and relax, because security is a journey. It's not a destination, and we haven't reached the end yet.
So
Thank you.
Randy, I really love hearing it. I think we're starting to see that pivot a little bit of security leaders that are starting to say, hey, culture is really important, and enabling our business, understanding the business. But it's something that, especially in mortgage, financial services, you don't normally see that because of the regulations that you're impacted by. And so I'm curious, I'm really, maybe diving in a little bit more. So when you're talking to your board and your C-suite, how do you kind of fold in that balance of culture? We hear a lot about, hey, metrics and where are we at and conveying security. Does your board really understand security really well? Are they focused around that culture? How do you kind of demonstrate that culture is, it's kind of culture is security. The culture you're building is building security at the same time, right?
Yeah, so this is another area that I'm really blessed. So as a private company, we have an advisory board, not a governing board. And the C-suite is extremely committed to, let's hire the right people to do the right thing and trust them to do the right thing. So they don't question hardly anything that we do. And the good part about that is they don't question the other side of that. It's a two-edged sword. It's all me. It's all our team. We got to be making the right decisions. And so I have a very close relationship with our chief product officer, our chief technology officer. We can have conversations. Our teams have close relationships with the infrastructure teams, the product strategy teams, the software engineers. And it really empowers people, and it's part of the culture too. That's a significant part of empowering people to make those decisions that are key to securing the data, securing the systems, also understanding you're on the hook for that. If you don't make the right call, that puts all of our veteran hero data potentially at risk. So is your head making the risk call that your body can deliver on, and that the technology can deliver on? Because there's that level of importance on what they're doing, but people like that. They don't take it lightly.
Yeah, so I think you have it's interesting. I think there's an advantage there in that your customers are very, I don't know, I'm not sure how to quantify this, but they seem more than just like at a retail store or whatever. Oh, we have customers. There's somebody over there. For you, it's, as you said, they're veteran heroes. These are people that have served our country. Some of them, lifelong, right, or however long. And these are very, very, I think, tangible relationships is what I'm trying to get at, right? You have that ability to connect, and you can say things like, we need to do the right thing for this group of people, as opposed to somebody out there. And I think that if that comes from your advisory board, if that also comes into your executive suite and all the way down to your employees, that is certainly a significantly different, and maybe I'll just call it a luxury, because that's, not everybody gets to be that connected with their customer base, right? But that it seems to drive the way you operate, and that's really interesting to me.
It does. So, for example, at Veterans Day, the last 2 years, we've run a campaign called Make It Mean More. And we've actually paid off the homes of 11 veterans on that day. And this year we did a lot more media splash, that sort of thing. But the focus of that is so powerful at helping our employees be connected to the mission and the vision of the company, that they see it all the time. We hear our chief marketing officer regularly sends out updates about how we impacted a family, a veteran hero family, getting into a home that they never thought they were going to be able to do. They never thought they could realize the American dream of home ownership. And we keep that front and center for our employees to know and understand these are the people we're serving. It's not nameless, faceless customers.
Ralph, that's the advantage, right? When you think about it internally, is that we're always trying to figure out how to get security related employees connected to mission, right?
Yeah.
And it
doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, this is as clear a way as you can do it as any. And it's interesting. It's, values drive culture, drive behavior, right?
I think so. We've talked a lot about, I think, Gary, I think you nailed it. Fine point there. Mission, right? The organization has a mission that is very, very succinct, very well defined, and everybody understands it. I think for a lot of the folks that listen, a lot of the folks out there doing CISO work and security work, it's just it seems very ephemeral. It seems sort of out there, right? You're protecting something from someone for some reason. I think that the message for us then is, and we'll let you do, kind of give that, but I think that it's the clear and concise message and mission delivery, which helps you, gives you an advantage.
Oh, definitely.
So Randy, we'll give you in 30 seconds or less, if you wanted to sum up kind of, where you've seen the success and what advice you would give to other CISOs in the role, what's your takeaway?
Yeah. Hire great people and stay out of their way first. And that's really hard for us because we've grown up, we're the subject matter experts, and now we're having to give that over to someone else. But you've got to leave room for people to grow and flourish. And that's how you build a team of people that are passionate about what they do, and they'll deliver results for you because you enhance their life by giving them an opportunity that they didn't have before. I think that's probably the biggest takeaway. In addition to do the basic blocking and tackling. Don't fumble that part, pay attention to what we need to be doing, but it's about the people. And there's one other aspect. An author named Erica Anderson wrote a book, and she talked about how to be good in the new fast economy. And it talks about ANEW, people that are ambitious, have a neutral self-image, exceedingly curious, and they're willing to be bad before they're good. That's the people I look for. especially college graduates. If you come interview with me and I ask you, what are you doing with your home network? And you say, well, I got a network. You're not willing to be bad before you're good. You're not curious. If you're not running Kali Linux or you're not doinking with your network and killing it once in a while, you're not willing to be bad before you're good. Look for those folks, because then you can delegate to them and they're not going to drop the ball because they don't want to drop the ball.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, thanks, Randy. I really appreciate you sharing about not just the security culture you built, but the company culture as well. That's been a really good experience. Thanks to everybody who's tuned in live with us today and who's watching this later. Continue to give us feedback on what topics you'd like to see on LinkedIn and Twitter. Next week, we've got the first of a 3-part series with Sean Tuma, a very excellent expert in the field and a good friend of all of us. So I really, really encourage you to join us next week. It's goodbye for now. Thanks again for joining us, and tune in next week for another episode of the Above Board Show.
Thanks, everybody.